So joining me here are Jenny and Richard. They're two of the channel buddies for the channel community, for which IT Channel Oxygen is the media partner. Welcome, Jenny and Richard.
Hi, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
So I think it'd be really good to talk about what you do as channel buddies or mentors, because the channel community, as much as it needs channel buddies, it also needs mentees as well. We need to get more mentees involved. So it'd be really good just to find out what you actually do in your capacity as channel buddies and how you've actually helped mentees in the last couple of years. So Jenny, maybe we could start with you. What's the typical circumstance under which a mentee would come to you, and how have you helped them?
Of course. So the mentees can be anyone at any point in their career in the IT channel. So all of us channel buddies have a bio, and they can have a little look, familiarize themselves, see what areas we have experience in and knowledge in, and where we can potentially help them. So mine, for example, I think it says, if you're sort of not sure where to go in your career next, or you're looking for a bit of a confidence boost, I think that is where I can definitely help. So my mentees so far have been sort of someone coming into the industry, working out how to navigate it, the lingo, because all the acronyms, and, it is something that you may not necessarily feel comfortable talking about internally, because it may be sort of expected that you know it. So it might just be one of those things that you just want to speak to an outsider from an outsider point of view that isn't within your company, that isn't going to judge you, that isn't, they are just here to support you. So I've seen that person grow. They've actually moved into a different company, progressed within their role. And yeah, it's great. We still keep in contact. And instead of it being a regular monthly meeting, which is how we started, it's now ad hoc. I've also mentored someone through an interview process. So they were looking at moving into a different area within the channel, an area that I have experience with. So they were just sort of looking at the channel buddies, and they sort of got in touch with me and asked if I would support them, help them, give them the insights that they didn't have. And then other people that I have mentored is progression. So when they've been going from a more junior role to a more senior role, and how to handle that transition and work with their colleagues differently. And then also maybe people that are a bit stuck, they're looking at their career, they've hit a bit of a ceiling, they're not really sure where to go. And sometimes you just need someone to give you a slightly different perspective, and it can really open your eyes.
Yeah, and it's free. I think we should emphasize that. It's a free mentoring network. Yeah. Richard?
Yeah, for me, touching on what Jenny said, really, the variety of mentees that have approached myself, in that sense, I've been really surprised about. So these are people who are new into the industry, as Jenny touched on, through to wanting to have some career progression, having more of a voice for marketing on the leadership team, for example. And obviously that's my background. So there's a real mix of people actually approach. And I think who I thought might approach me are actually totally different. The age range is much wider than I actually thought there would be. I thought it'd be more middle management type people, but actually there's a lot of new people to the industry, in their early 20s, all the way up to people actually older than myself, right? So I think to the point that Jenny touched on before, people just need a trusted and secure environment to bounce some ideas around. So they have some thoughts in their head, somebody who understands our industry, or they might understand the area of business that our discipline is within. So myself with marketing, and I know with yourself, Jenny, like operations and sort of contracts and customer base and that type of thing. So I think people sometimes don't know what they're looking for in many cases as well. And it's only when you start having conversations with these people, and when I say conversations, the first part is listening. Our role as channel buddies is to listen. There's no right or wrong question. And we're not there to give all the answers. We're there to help guidance and to offer some guidance into how to approach things in different ways. But we only can understand that once we get to know the individual, because everybody's different and everybody takes a different approach to actually understanding what it is they're trying to achieve. Because quite often, in my experience, I don't know if it's the same for you, Jenny, is it starts off where they think they've got something they're trying to achieve. And that's, that's very primary in that discussion. But actually through, weeks and months of engaging with that person, they actually broaden that out to a much bigger picture in what they feel their sort of career needs to take in a certain direction. But I think for me as a channel buddy, and why I encourage more mentees to approach the channel community, and we have lots of events and things as well, is it helps me stay relevant in our industry. So when you're speaking with people from lots of different backgrounds, lots of different age ranges and experiences, they're giving you a different perspective on what some of the challenges are there outside your world, because obviously my world's a lot different than many other people, and vice versa. So it is a two-way thing. This isn't a one-way process. This is very much about being a two-way engagement. And I think for the people I've worked with over the last few years since being a channel buddy, that's the reward I get, is very much about seeing that person develop and seeing sort of a positive outcome. Now, that takes a different length of time for different people. And also, some people sort of delve in and out maybe once every 3 months or every 6 months. This doesn't have to be a weekly thing, or it might start off with more engagement to begin with. So I don't know, in your sense, Jenny, on how you experience that across your mentees.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very important to understand that it doesn't have to be a fixed time. I don't expect people to be in touch with me weekly. Quite often it starts as monthly. That just seems to work out quite well, because as well, when a mentee sort of comes to you and you have the conversation, you give them some pointers and advice, they need a bit of time to go away and digest it all and put some of those points into action, if that's what they're looking at doing. So it could be that actually the month comes and then they're not quite ready for the next chat, so it's fine, we just push it back to when they're ready. I've got someone that I think I had the initial call with, and then we had another call 2 weeks later. So time scales, it's to suit the individual, so give it a go.
Yeah, and so having been involved in the channel community, I know that it's got hundreds of people in the network, so it's doing really well. But we want more mentees, right? That's the call to arms. So what's your message to people out there listening who potentially could be future mentees?
Get in touch. Don't think that you don't deserve a channel buddy, or what you have questions around, what you need advice and help for is not something that we that is, if you feel it's too small, I think in our head we go, oh, they're probably too busy for me, but we've purposely signed up to help people. So it might be that you have one conversation with us, and actually that little niggling question you had, we might answer. However, it might be that it develops into a bigger conversation, and actually we identify an area that you may require more help with, and then we might end up doing something more regularly. So I would just say it doesn't matter how junior, how senior you are, it's worth a conversation.
Yeah, well, it's good to know you're there, and check out the website, check out the channel buddies, see who's there, and get in touch.